evening there, folks. My name is Steve Rennie. I am the Ren Baron, and this is my Ren Baron Learning to Fly YouTube channel. All right, first things first here, I'm going to come into the hangar here and just I'm going to make sure everything is working properly here. Let's go up to our chat room. Okay, if you can see this, somebody go ahead and tell me if you can hear everything properly. I want to make sure that we're all good and that we can hear. So can you hear me there? Anybody online there? Let's just get that baby up and running here. Let's get out of studio mode so I can see. All right, anybody in the chat room there? Tell me if you can hear us. If you can hear me, that would be great. Somebody just go, yes, we got audio. 5x5, is that what that says? I'm not sure what 5x5 means here, okay. Yes, okay, good. Okay, so we'll get started here then. Let me just get this busy here. Okay, we're going to do a little sim flight tonight from Santa Monica Airport to San Carlos, and I'm going to take you through the whole process best I can. Let me just get back to this shot right here. There we are. Okay, so I'm going to go through this whole process with you a little bit and show you how I work on the sim here. As I mentioned in my, got my little note here, go live, which we did. Okay, I got to pick my son up in San Carlos tomorrow. He's been up there at a big rock show at the Outside Land Festival. If you've watched my channel before, you know I'm an escapee from the music business. My sons have taken my spot in the music business, so they're up there doing what I did many years ago, which is hanging out at big rock shows and trying to stay out of trouble. So tomorrow we'll be heading up, and so I'm going to go to just kind of go through the whole process and to try to make some sense of it all. And so that I'm comfortable with it. So I'm going to take you through that process today, and we're going to start with the flight plan. I've got my little script here, and I'm going to try to get rid of this keyboard, which I've got a whole setup here that helps make this a little bit easier, and I've been doing a lot, so hopefully it'll go smoothly tonight. At some point here, we'll stop and take some questions here. Let me make sure that that's all working. Let me just do this. I'm going to do a little... Hang on one second here. I'm going to go down here one second. We'll figure it out here. I'll come back and answer some of those questions in a minute, and once I get myself all sorted out, I can do this a million times when I'm sitting here by myself, and then all of a sudden I get some folks virtually in the room with me, and I choke like a dog here. So my apologies up front here. Okay, first things first here. Let's go to the iPad. I have a couple of planning tools that I use as part of my my preparation for any kind of cross-country flight, and this one's 300 miles, and really it's kind of a shortish cross-country flight, but it's definitely something that you'll want to prepare for. So the number one tool I have is my iPad, okay? And as you can see right here, I've actually started to put all this information in here. I started with our destination. I use a little flight sheet here called my flight info sheet, which you've seen me use on my little knee board, and I'm going to start there again today. So the first thing I did was put in the date on it, KSMO to KSQL, all right? Once I get in the plane, I'll get some other information, but right now we're going to take care of as much of this stuff up front as we can, and we're going to start with this iPad, which is a great way to do it. Let's just start from the top. We're going to go KSMO, is where I'm coming out of, KSMO. I'm going to KSQL, which is San Carlos, California, which if you're not familiar with the California area, that's up in the Bay Area, just short of San Francisco, and is a fun little airport to go into. Not a very long runway, 2,600 feet. Now, first thing I do is I put in the start and end point, okay? Now, there's my flight plan. If I was flying direct, clearly I'm not going to be flying direct here today. Way back years ago when I was in the music business, I had a guy who told me, if you really want to get good at something fast, Steve, hang out with smarter, more talented, more successful people than yourself. And I always took that to heart. And so my new, smarter, more talented, more experienced friend in the aviation business is is my iPad in this application called ForeFlight, which I'm sure you're aware of. If you're not, you should check it out here. Anyway, what that does is that it gives you some suggestions as far as routes. Now, if we were flying VFR, I could fly direct, but today we're going to be taking this route here. And I'm going to go over here to the right side of this little top window here, and I'm going to press routes. And what this route advisor does is it gives you recommendations of flight plans up there. A lot of them, truth be told, are IFR routes, and I like to fly IFR whenever possible. Tomorrow, the weather is scheduled to be a little dodgy up there, likely to be some IFR conditions, so certainly tomorrow going on IFR would be a great plan here. So I'm going to take this route here that's recommended, which is Ventura, San Marcos, DoCal, Ambi. It's been recommended, recently a total of 94 times. So I'm going to figure out that somebody knows something. So let's go ahead and click on the 94 right there. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to select the route and put it in there, and now we're ready to go. Okay, now here's where I start to fill out this little sheet of mine. Okay, and we're going to start with taking this and pushing this. Now at the very top section in that flight plan area, there's a little square with a little arrow pushing up, and that takes me over, and it gives you a number of options of where you can send this. I'm going to send this to flights. Okay, and this is one of my favorite planning tools right here, is this little flight section of ForeFlight. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to skip the part right now about the nav log and the briefing and all that stuff, because I want to try to keep this as tight as possible. There's a Laker game on tonight. But the first thing I'm going to do is use this departure information that you see up here, departure and destination. So for info, I'm going to go click on KSMO. I'm going to hit the info button here. So now this is where I put in I start to fill in this sheet right here. And I have a section in there which I'll do a video here shortly how I fill this whole thing out. But we're going to go and start with the ATIS at Santa Monica, which is 119.15. I can assure you that I actually have that one committed to memory after 1,000 landings. 121.9 is ground. Tower is 120.1. And based on all my experience, I know that 125.2 is the departure frequency out of Santa Monica. Okay, so now we have our Santa Monica information. Now what I like to do is, even though I don't need that San Carlos information just yet, I like to go ahead and put in as much information as I can ahead of time, so that when the plan starts changing up in the air and I'm asked to juggle a bunch of different balls, I'm not juggling things like frequencies, which you can get ahead of time. So the ATIS up there is going to be 125.9 based on the weather I'm seeing today. I'll likely need that. San Carlos ground or tower is 119.0. That'll be the first person I talk to when I get to San Carlos. Once I get on the ground, I'm going to be talking to the ground frequency, which is 121.6. And I don't need the NorCal departure right yet. I'll get that on the way back, but I would have it right there. All of that information goes over here into this little sheet right here. And so we've got all that stuff taken care of right now. So now what I'm going to do is I go down here, and the cruising altitude we're going to fly tomorrow, I'm going to say we're going to fly up at, let's say we're going to go, we've got a 9-mile-an-hour wind. Actually, it's a little bit less headwind tomorrow down low. So let's just file for 10,000 right now. I like to fly typically a little bit higher than that, but tomorrow we'll see how it goes. As far as one passenger in there, payload, 190 pounds. Cargo, I probably have 25 pounds in the back. I've got 55. I'm going to go in here and check and see on my flight log. All these little flight logs that I'm showing you right now, I kept every one of these, so it's a good reference point. And so Santa Monica, San Carlos. So I have 57 gallons left in the tank here, and we'll confirm that tomorrow morning. So we'll put in 57 as our starting fuel right there. Okay, now meanwhile, as I enter all this information, my little friend, my experienced and smarter, more talented friend ForeFlight is already calculating all this stuff here. and it's going to give me all this information. So now what I would typically do is I would hit proceed to file right here, and then all that information would be sent to the FAA. I'd go on into the plane. Once I call up ground, I'll get my flight plan. Today, on our flight simulator, because this is a good chance for me to show you how I use the flight simulator to actually replicate flight as best I can. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to take you over to this page called Pilot Edge. Now, if you're thinking about a simulator and you're not thinking about getting Pilot Edge, you should think again. It's one of the greatest tools out there. And if you're not familiar with Pilot Edge, it's an online or a plug-in for X-Plane that basically allows you to have the real-time input from ATC controllers, guys that are off of work, or you're kind of moonlighting on the side, but it's real ATC controllers giving you real ATC instructions, and that makes this whole process look very, very, very similar to flying a real IFR flight plan. So today what I'm going to do is let's go into, oh God, I got to go file this flight plan here. So let me do this. I got to go, geez, okay. I got to figure out here for a minute how to get this down over here where I can see it. And let's just go over, I'm going to put it all in here. Oh, geez. Somehow I didn't think this all the way through. And I got to get this over to here. Hang on one second. And the reason I got to do this now, folks, is that if I don't file this flight plan with these guys, I won't be able to use them online. So I'm going to go up here and I'm just going to take a minute here. Let's see what you can see. Let's see if I can, I can't do it. So I'm just going to go file this really quickly here. Bear with me, gentlemen. And let me get this done. I'm going to pull this down to here so I can do it really quickly. Talk amongst yourselves there, gentlemen. I'm going to put in the IFR. I'm going to put in my tail number. I'm going to put in the type of aircraft, which is an SR22. I'm going to put in my equipment code, which is slant golf. I'm going to put in my true airspeed. I'm going to put in my starting airport, which is KSMO, KSMO. I'm going to San Carlos here. If you get bored, you can always go out trick-or-treating, gentlemen, or answer the door for all those kids that are going to be looking for food here, I suspect. 12,000. Okay, here's our flight. Let's go back to our map up here. So our flight plan is going to be KSMO, Ventura, VTU, space, then RZS, San Marcos, space, DOCAL, D-O-C-A-L, space, Ambi, and then San Carlos, and that is filed. Okay, so now, all right, great. So now my flight plan is filed, and now we can move on here. Okay, so now that we've got that all set, we've got our flight information all set. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this information, and ultimately I'm going to get the weather, and then I'm going to put all this information into my takeoff briefing. But I'm going to start with the field elevation here of Santa Monica, which is 160. Imagine, as I've talked to you, that you're seeing this through. My CAPS altitude is 600 above that, so my CAPS altitude is 760. For you folks that haven't flown a Cirrus, that's where that parachute is actually fully capable. 2,000 feet above the ground is where it gives you the most room to comfortably pull that parachute. So that's 2160. Okay, so now I think we've got everything. Let me check my little script here, show the flight form, takeoff briefing. I've got it. And now let's go to the cockpit. All right, let's go here, and okay, we got to go here. Okay, now how come this is not going where it's supposed to? Oh, okay, okay. Okay, now it should be going to, there we go, no. Okay, hang on, what is going on here today? Okay, bear with me in 1 second here, gents. Try to get this baby going. Cockpit, clean. Okay, now let's shove that over. All right, there we are on the cockpit, on the tarmac, I should say. Okay, now let's go in the cockpit here. There we are. Okay. Now let me do one other little thing here while we're waiting here. I'm going to go tab, and there's, okay, now, all right, so I can see some of your questions in here, and it's mostly yeses. Okay, I'll ask again, everything's sounding good? Gary, I want to welcome you, Bernard Scott, Jason Bennett, Amish Showroom, Doug Chesney, and FlyMatt1968. Good to see you all made it here. Now we are in the cockpit, so let's start with our process here. Okay, I'm going to go and get rid of that right now. Alt-tab, and so here we are. Okay, first things first, it's 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning. I'm going to put the keys in the ignition so I can't lose them. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to go down here in that glove box here, and I'm going to open it up, and we're going to get those engine numbers, which I talked about, that go on that sheet that we showed you a little bit earlier. So right now, my numbers are 292 for my Hobbs, 292.3 to be exact, and our engine instruments are 203 right now. Okay, so we're going to close up that glove box and go back up top here to our default view. Okay, so now we're still looking good here right now. Everybody's hear me okay? Everything's good? I hope you guys are all still there. I can think so. All right, well, I'm going to keep just going here. All right, so first things first now. I got all that stuff together. Now let's fire this baby up. I'm going to start with battery 2. And I'm going to come down here to the throttle quadrant. Now, if the diodes weren't working, you'd see a green light down here, but that's actually working just fine. So we're good. Everything's firing up, so I'm going to go to battery 2. I'm going to put on my strobe lights right there, and I'm just going to make believe you guys aren't here right now and just go through this whole process and have a cup of coffee to boot. Okay. All right. All right, so let's go through this. I'm going to hit enter, enter, enter on these Cirrus screens. I'm going to press that warning button and get rid of that pesky little thing right there. I'm going to add in some fuel here to 57 gallons, I believe it was, so that would be 9 gallons. Okay, enter. So now we got 57 to match what I've got there. Caution lights are on. Okay, so now I'm going to go back down to the throttle quadrant. Let's make sure everything's good. I'm going to go mixture full. Okay, that was the boost pump. Boost pump was going crazy there. Okay, full forward. Now I'm going to give it a little bit of this high boost prime right down here. 1000, 2, 1000, 3, 1004. I'm going to pull my power back to 1/4 inch. We're going to go up to the instrument views here. I'm going to roll my ignition over to here. I'm going to go back down to the throttle quadrant here. I'm going to give it now a little bit of regular boost pump. And then I'm going to fire this baby up. See if it's going to start here. Come on.
Gillespie clearance delivery. Cherokee 8289er Alpha at P28 Alpha slant gold. Request flight following from Gillespie to.
All right, got her all fired up there. That's good. Okay. All righty, let's. Okay, Steve. Hello, Steve. We hear you fine. Thank you, Scott. I'm going to just keep flipping back and forth. I can actually see your chat room stuff on here, which is good. Okay, so now we got everything started up. We're going to get rid of that. Let's go Alt 1, Alt 2. Avionics are on. Okay, now we're going to go up close here on this instrument here. So now I'm going to take that information I got from that flight info page, okay, and I'm going to start going to work here. If you go down to, let's roll it up a little bit closer so you can see them. On COM2 now, I like to have all my COM frequencies down onto the ground one. So 11915 is ATIS, okay? I'm going to go down here to the GCU, okay, and I'm going to go monitor, actually I'm just going to go over to COM2. And I got to put on my headset now, and I'm going to take one of these off so I can hear what's going on. Bear with me 1 second.
Visual approach is in use. Read backhaul runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Mike.
Now, can you guys hear that ATIS okay?
Santa Monica Municipal Airport. ATIS information, Mike. 2351 Zulu. Wind 220 at 4. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 17. Dew point 13. Altimeter 29908. Arriving and departing runway 21. Visual approaches in use. Read backhaul runway.
Okay, great.
Gillespie ground. Cherokee 8289 Alpha at Golden State, ready to taxi to 27 right with information Sierra.
Okay, so now we're going to come back
Great,
up top
Alpha.
here. Okay, can you guys hear me okay?
Taxi via Bravo Delta.
And can you hear the
Right.
pilot edge?
89 Alpha.
All right, good. All right, so everything's working nicely here today. All right, excellent. Okay, so now next step is we've got our ATIS, we got all that information off our flight info sheet. Now I'm going to call up ground and ask for my IFR clearance. So let's take care of that. We're on mic 2 down here. Let's get rid of all 2. We're on mic 2 down here, and let's give him a call. Santa Monica ground, Cirrus 768 Foxtrot Sierra at Alpha 2 run up with Mike. I'd like to pick up my IFR flight plan to San Carlos Kilo Sierra, Quebec Lima, and taxi to the runway 21.
Six Foxtrot Sierra, Santa Monica ground, runway 21, taxi via Alpha. Have your IFR request.
21 taxi via Alpha 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Do you have the IFR request right now?
Affirmative. Still working on the clearance.
Okay, I'll call you from the run up 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Taxiing 21 via Alpha 8 Foxtrot Sierra. All right, so now first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go down there. We're going to kick off our brake. We're going to hit our thing here. I'm going to go through these checklists here. Let's go through all of that I went through. Starting engines we went through before taxi. Okay, flaps are up. Radio avionics are set so far. Cabin heat defrost is good. We are on the fullest tank here, and we are. Okay, so now let's get taxiing here.
410 ground, Skyhawk 7 Charlie Lima at South GA ramp, ready to taxi with information.
767 Charlie Lima, runway 24, taxi via Alpha.
Runway 24, taxi via Alpha 7 Charlie Lima.
All right, so our parking brakes is good now. HSI orientation is good. Attitude gyro is good. Turn coordinator is working properly. Now remember, it's 7:30 in the morning. I'll be the only guy here, folks. Before takeoff checklist, doors are locked and closed. CAPS handle is on the dashboard as usual. I got one of my dogs waiting outside. Seatbelt and shoulder harness is secure. Air conditioner not going to be required. Fuel quantity, we got 57 gallons. Fuel selector is on fullest tank. Fuel pump is engaged. Flaps, let's go flaps 50 here. I got 50. And we'll set our transponder up here in the run-up area here. You'll probably hear I got 2 dogs scratching at my door over here. They want to be passengers. Not today, boys.
126 Hotel Foxtrot,
Okay, let's pull our
X-ray, full stop.
Okay, we're coming up to the run-up area here. Love X-Plane. This is a very great rendition of Santa Monica.
We'll call it a straight in runway 26 left.
Except that the run-up area is on the left, not the right here. So I'm going to go into the run-up area here on the right.
126 Hotel Foxtrot, clear to land.
6 Hotel Foxtrot, I have 2 runway 26s here. Make straight in runway 26 left, cleared to land.
26 left, stretching, clear to land, 126 Hotel Foxtrot.
Okay, we'll swing this baby around. And then we'll hit our parking brake. And we are ready to rumble here. Okay, so bear with me. I'm going to let my 2 beasts in here. All right, boys, come on. Come on. Come on. All right, they will not be coming in the cockpit with me. Okay. All right, so we can start through our checklist here. Actually, we got to wait for our transponder. Santa Monica ground, Cirrus 768 Fox Sierra in the run-up here, waiting release or my clearance.
768 Foxtrot Sierra, Santa Monica ground, cleared to San Carlos Airport. On departure, fly runway heading until crossing Los Angeles 310 radial, then turn right, heading 250 with no delay. Radar vector's Ventura VOR, and then as filed. Maintain 3000, expect 12,000 in 10 minutes. Departure frequency 125.2, squawk 3351.
Okay, we are cleared to San Carlos. On departure, we're going to fly runway heading at the LAX 315 radial. We're going to make a right turn heading 250, then radar vectors for Ventura, then as filed 3,000 to start, 12,010, 125.2 on the departure, and 3351 on the squawk. 8 Foxtrot's here.
768 Foxtrot, Jerry, back correct.
Okay, so now that we've got that done, let's go ahead and program all of this stuff in here. And I'm going to try to show you, can you see that little instrument cam? Let's go push that over here. Okay, here's my instrument cam here that I've set up, and hopefully you can see that okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I like to work backwards from that clearance. I'm going to turn that down here a little bit so I don't have to hear it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is put in my squawk. So right here I'm going to go and hit the transponder button. Then I'm going to go 3351, and that's going to put that over here on my instruments here. Okay, and let's go zip it in there a little bit closer for you. All right, great. Now back to and you can see right here, I believe you can see there 3351 is our transponder. Okay, so now that I've got that one set, we've got 125.2 set up top here already, so that one's good. We've got 3,000 we're going to put in as our altitude select, right, which you can see right here. That's a check. We're going to put in, we're going to sync our heading and then put in 250 right here. And then we're going to have to do a little something here before we take care of the OBS. And so I'm going to go in here, and now I'm going to go back to the flight plan here. And we're going to put the flight plan in here now. So let me get over here, and let's go back up a step here so you can see it. KSMO is going to be our first waypoint. So now we're going to go KSMO, and then it's LAX, he said. LAX, enter, which is, we're going to come back to that in a second. Then Ventura, Victor, Tango, Uniform, enter. Then San Marcos, don't ask me how they got RZS out of San Marcos, but they did. San Marcos. Then DoCal, D-O, Charlie, Alpha, Lima, bang, bang. And then KSQL, enter. Now that I have our flight plan here, okay, now we're going to deal with this, we're going to deal with, let's go back one. We're going to go deal with this 315 radial. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go scroll back up top here. I'm going to make LAX the, okay, now KSMO LAX the active leg. I'm going to go back over to my little instrument cam here. Let's go. Let me get out of here for a second. Let's get out.
Clearance delivery, Cessna 7519er.
I'm going to go back to my instrument cam. I'm going to press course, and then I'm going to go and dial in.
7 Charlie Lima, contact SoCal departure.
I'm going to go course, and then I'm going to, what the heck is going on here? Clear. LAX, we're going to go course.
75190, John Wayne clearance, clear to
31.
Correction.
Jesus, what's going on?
Clear.
Clear.
Elmu 9er departure.
LAX.
Elmu and then
Hang
filed.
on. Clear.
Maintain 4,000.
LAX.
5,000 in 10 minutes.
Course.
Departure frequency 12.
Got to go back over here. OBS. Sorry, I'm choking here, folks. Course. Now we're going to go 31. Jesus, what is going on here? Okay, LAX.
Okay, clear to John Wayne, Elmu 9 departure.
No. Okay, let's just go to LAX. LAX. Okay, we're going to go
4,
course.
And then we'll
OBS is set.
in 10 minutes. Frequency is 134.2.
This course won't hold still.
And squawk 3275.
OBS. All right, well, this OBS 315 is turning out to be something weird's happening tonight. Okay, I can't figure what's going on tonight here. So what we'll do is we'll go to about 1,000. The way this actually works today. Let's get back here.
Airport, then has 3 departure, Daggett transition, and then has filed.
Okay, hang on.
4,000, expect 1,000 in 10 minutes. Departure frequency 134.2.
Okay, let's go back to
1350.
Cockpit.
Clear to the Las Vegas Airport, Van Nuys 3, departure, Daggett transition as filed, climb 4000.
Let's get out of studio.
1,
Okay, so there we are back at
34.2 and squawk 1350, land 0420 Tango. 0420 Tango, read back correct.
hang on, bear with me 1 second, gentlemen. I got a little kerfuffle going on here.
8289er Alpha at
Okay.
runway 27 right for eastbound departure.
Okay, there we go.
Right, 29er Alpha.
All right, back up. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to go and fly this the way they're doing it these days, which is you fly to 1,000 feet, and then we're going to make a right-hand turn. Okay, so we got all that stuff done now. Let's go back to our checklist. It's a lot easier to fly the plane than the sim here sometimes. Okay, so our transponder is set. Our autopilot, let's now check our autopilot and make sure all of that is working. Let's go through our checklist here. Okay, autopilot, I'm going to put it in autopilot mode. I'm going to push heading, and the you see the flight director starts to move ever so slightly. We're going to take that off. We're going to flip this into takeoff mode here. Autopilot is set, navigation is set, cabin heat defrost not required, brakes are holding. So now let's go to our engine page here. Check engine. Okay, now let's push it up to 1700 here. 1700. Okay, now we're going to go and do our switches here. All right, so we've got avionics,
Millionaire with Delta for taxi.
nav, strobe, landing light is on.
Tango Burbank, ground runway 15, taxi via Bravo.
All those are pushing up right here. Now let's check our, let's go pitot heat, should blow this one up a bit, and it does. Okay, now back over, we're going to lose left mag is a drop of 90, that's pretty big. Right mag, drop of 60, those are both within parameters, and the power back to 1000. Okay, back to the checklist here. Okay, so we got all that stuff. Hang on, come on, little darling. Okay, we got brakes. Okay, autopilot is done, navigation, brakes, power lever, did all that. Alternator is good, voltage is back to plus 1, that's good. Navigation, landing lights, let's get rid of pitot heat, let's get rid of ice, let's get rid of our landing light. Magnetos are checked, power levers back to 1000-ish. Flight instruments are set. Okay, let's go. Flight controls free and correct. Let's go outside and see, make sure those are free and correct. What is going on here today? Okay, let's go. External views, rear view. Okay, there we go. Okay, left is up, right is down. Everything's moving properly. Okay, all good. Trim, let's go set our trim for takeoff here. Trim is going to be right here. Trim, all good. Autopilot we've checked. Okay, now we're ready for takeoff. Okay, so now let's get out of Dodge here and call up our friends at on ground here. We're ready. They gave us a clearance all the way to the runway, so now we've got 12. Let's go up top here, make sure we got 125.2. Now let's switch over to COM 1, and now we're ready to go. Whew, that takes a lot longer here than does it. Okay, let's go over, get rid of our brake, and now let's go over to the runway here. Okay, let's get rid of our flight. Okay, now we're back on our flight plan, and we're going to just go to 1,000 feet here. Now back to our takeoff briefing here for a minute. If we have an engine issue, before we get to 760 feet, we're going to pitch for 92. We're going to mixture off, tanks off, ignition off, and land on a golf course straight ahead of us. If we have an engine issue before 700, off the ground, but before 760, we're going to pull the parachute, mixture off, tanks off, ignition off, and land, float down on that golf course. If we have an engine issue before we get to 2,000, between 760 and 2160, we're pulling the parachute. If we get to 2160, we're coming back to the runway. Okay, now let's talk to tower and get out of Dodge here. All right, we're going to be flying runway heading, and we're ready to go. Santa Monica Tower, Cirrus 768 Foxtrot Sierra, holding short runway 21 at Alpha 5, ready for departure.
768 Foxtrot Sierra, Santa Monica Tower, runway 21, cleared for takeoff.
21 clear for takeoff, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Okay, now let's start flying here. Okay, let's put her in there. Let's go. Trim flap mixture boost. We're all good. Keep her on the center line here. Okay, let's keep that right rudder in there. Flaps are up at 90. Trim it down here. Okay, now we're going to go to 1,000. And then we're going to make that right turn to 250. 760 is going to be our caps available altitude. I'm going to hit caps available.
Seven 668 Foxtrot Sierra, contact departure.
Contacting departure, 8 Foxtrot Sierra.
Runway 25 approach.
SoCal approach, Cirrus 768 Foxtrot Sierra, 1,200 climbing 3,000.
Approach 7 charge. 768 Foxtrot Sierra, SoCal departure, radar contact, climb maintain 6,000.
Climb maintain 6,000, 8 Foxtrot Sierra.
8 Foxtrot Sierra, clear direct Ventura.
And then clear direct Ventura, 8 Foxtrot Sierra.
Charlie Golf Mike Oscar November, contact tower 127.65. Have a good landing.
Enter.
Thanks, have a good night.
Nav. Okay, now we're getting over to Ventura direct. Okay, so we're going to go to 6,000 here. Now I've set our indicated airspeed here. Oops, let's go down here. Jesus Christ. Let's go down. Keep my eyes on the ball here. Trying to show you everything here. All right, we'll just get where we're going for 6,000. We're going direct Ventura. Let's go back to the map here. Go through our checklist here. This would be our climb checklist. All good. Power lever's good. Mixture is good. Airspeed's good. Electric fuel pump, fuel flow is good. We'll pull back power just a little bit there. Get that yellow light off. Doesn't happen quite so fast in the G6. Let's get that back. Get her out of there. Okay, 29.5. I can pretty much go 100% out of your engine parameters are good so far. And let's get to 6,000 here. Okay, let's take a look out to the right. See what's going on. I'm going to put it on autopilot right now just so I can show you some stuff here. Okay, we're going direct Ventura. We got 121 set. Going to 6,000. Let's get that back to 29.5. That's where we want it to be. Okay, now we're good. Let's take a look out to the left. Some clouds, typical Santa Monica stuff right there. Clouds out of the box, nothing major though. There's your Santa Monica look right there. Getting up on 6,000 here. Back to the cockpit here. Pacific Ocean to our left. Beautiful sight. Never get tired of this departure here. Okay, now let's go back to the map. Right now I'd be looking for traffic. Let's get rid of this stuff here. Profile's gone. We're heading direct Ventura. And then we're going to head up the central part of the valley, or central coast, up the coast past Camarillo to Santa Barbara, and then across the Central Valley. Okay, we're coming up on 6,000 here. And once we get to cruise, I'll see.
Departure lands here 420 Tango 2,000, climbing 4,000, Van Nuys 3.
Tango, so departure radar contact.
Okay, I see we got a bunch of questions here, so I'm going to answer these in just a second. So let's get to get up to...
okay, 7,000, and we'll expect that as a final, 420 Tango.
Okay, so now...
Negative, not as a final, just until Palmdale, probably. Oh, I apologize. Okay, 420 Tango. All right, 420 Tango, turn right, heading 340, when able to proceed direct Lang, resume departure. Heading 340, direct Lang, show, Lancer 420 Tango.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. Okay. How do I get rid of this thing now? Jesus. All right. I don't know how I did that, folks. How do I get? Does anybody know how to get rid of this window here? Got stuck window here. God darn it. I can see it up there somehow. I got that window. Okay, there we go. Jeez. Yikes. Okay. We're at 6,000. Let's take care of business here with our checklist here. Bang. Okay, oxygen is not required yet. Mixture is good. We're going to pull that mixture back to 16.1-ish. That'll get me 75. Let's get her all the way back. All right, there we go. Minimum airspeed, 16.1. Come on. All right, there we go. Electric fuel pump, we're all good. We're at cruise oxygen. We'll have to come back to that one because we'll be back and he's going to give us a climb here in a second. Okay, now. Let me go back to Alt Tab here. Okay. Now I'm going to answer a few questions for you. Fly Matt said, are you using real sim gear equipment? I am using some real sim gear equipment. The GCU.
7 Charlie, contact SoCal approach 124.9.
The GCU is
1249, 7 Charlie, appreciate your
all
advice.
real sim gear. The throttle quadrant, which you can't see here, is the throttle quadrant, which you can see, you can't see. Oh man, some little issues here coming up that I hadn't. Cockpit.
SoCal approach, Skyhawk 767 Charlie, 3,000.
Okay, I've lost the chat room here, so bear with me just a second there, gents.
SoCal approach, the Hawthorne altimeter 30, correction 299 now. Advise ATIS. We have Victor for Hawthorne, 7 Charlie.
All right, got you back here again. A co-worker of mine has one of those. Piaggio, Steve, that'll be changing for us soon. Okay, let me go from the top here. Okay, we hear you fine. We have information. Evening, Steve. It's Anthony from PE, Pilot Edge. Met Anthony Santanasta. Anthony, I'm just going to call. I met him down at the Flight Sim Expo. Great dude. I've always wondered who that guy from the controller from New York is on Pilot Edge, and that's Anthony. So anyway, I'm hoping I'm having a good flight. It's a lot easier to fly that real plane, Anthony, than it is the sim. I can look out the windows and so forth. Are you using real sim gear equipment? Let's start it on that one, Fly Matt. I use real sim gear, GCU, MFD, PFD. The switches are all real sim gear. The flight stick, Cirrus Yoke, is from a company called Noble Flight Sim. The throttle quadrant is from Noble Flight Sim. And those are some folks that I really enjoy their equipment. So I've got a little mix and match here, but it works pretty well for me. So I'm going to do a little, we're coming up on, here on our map, we're coming up on Point Magoo, and normally we'd get a frequency change right here. SoCal approach 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Am I going to get a frequency change to Magoo, or are we just going to go to LA Center?
8 Foxtrot Sierra, climb maintain 8,000. I'll get you direct to the center there.
Climb maintain 8,000, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Okay, so now we're going to go to 8,000. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to dial in 8,000 here. 8,000. I'm going to go indicated. I'm going to go on the GCU down here. Okay, I can't do that right now. I'm going to go indicated airspeed. I'm going to go back up to the instrument view here. We're going to dial in 120. And then I'm going to go back to let's get 120 in there. I'm going to go back to my throttle quadrant. We're going to give it full mixture, full power. And we're going to start climbing. Pitot heat is required. And let's take a look out the left here. There's just north of Malibu off to our left here. The valley on the right, which you can't really see much of that today. Okay. Let's see what we've got out the back. Rear view. That's a view I've seen a million times. Okay, up ahead of us is Point Mugu. There's a naval air station there right now.
Contact Los Angeles Center 135.5.
135.5, 8 Foxtrots here.
420 Tango contact.
Okay, so let's go up top here to 135.5.
420 Tango.
Departure Lancer 420 Tango at 7,000.
That's our 420 Tango Joshua departure after Palmdale, climb maintain 11,000 off the number is 29907.
LA Center, Cirrus 768 Foxtrot Sierra level 8,000.
768 Foxtrot Sierra, Los Angeles Center, climb maintain 12,000. The Oxnard altimeter 29908.
Climb maintain 2,000, 29908 for Oxnard 8 Foxtrot Sierra. I never adjusted my altimeter back on the other side. Okay, so now same process. We're going to go indicated airspeed. We'll go back down here. Indicated airspeed. We're going to roll that baby up to 120 again. Got everything in full mixtures already. Mixture's full, power's full already. And there she is climbing at about 1,800 feet a minute. That would be, I don't think I've ever seen 1,800. I've had 1,750 before. So anyway, plane's climbing nicely. I'm going to link up my heading button here. Let's take a look to the left. All right, so there's where we are on the flight path right there. As you can see at LA, that's some look at the little traffic around our neighborhood here. Pretty nutty out there. Come back in the cockpit here, and let's just see if we got some folks in the chat room here. Okay, great. Okay, let's go. I'm going to see if I can successfully get you guys in the... Okay, I'm going to try to get this in my window here so I can see these a little bit closer. There we go. Okay. Coming up on 12,000 here. That is X-Plane 11. It is. Boost not necessary on climb. In my Cirrus Gen 6, the boost is on pretty much the whole time. This is a turbo normalized G3 right here. On my plane from day one, I've been told to keep that boost on, and I do. Anthony Bruce, I really enjoyed it. I've learned a lot from your real-life flights. Yeah, the real-life flights are a lot easier than these sim flights, although I'm getting a little better on it. But honest to God, guys, I'm choking like a dog here tonight with you guys. The pressure of, like, people watching it, I can't even see you, okay? But I have been spending quite a bit of time here on the sim of late, and it really is a great little tool. And I really enjoy it a lot. And at $6 a gallon, it's getting to be more of a no-brainer here. Okay, so let's see what else we got up there. So let me get back over here. All right, there we go. Let's see who else we got here. Boost not necessary. We did all that. Awash 2004. Okay, great. It's funny when I'm doing these sim. There's just a lot of juggling going on because you can't really just see out the window, or you can't see right or left, and so forth and so on. I wind up looking at the monitor in front of me, the instruments, when I have a set of instruments right here in front of me. So it really is a little bit more interesting here. So, all right, so let's get rid of the, let's see if I can get rid of that. Okay, that worked nicely. Let's go back into the, let's go back into the cockpit here. Okay, there we go.
Descending to 8. So that's why you're at 7 all the way to Palmdale.
All right, so now one of the beautiful things, okay, did I ever, no, I haven't readjusted, so I'm yapping to you guys. Okay, so I'm going to pull back my cruise altitude, so I'm going to pull back to 29.5. I'm going to pull my mixture back to about 16.1, gets you about 75% power, and that's pretty darn accurate. It's about what it is in mine. I'm going to switch our tanks over to the left tank now, which I just did. Okay, great. The flight model, we were talking, somebody was asking, I do use X-Plane. I do use X-Plane 11.5, but the thing that really makes all this equipment come together, the real sim gear, and also the Noble Flight Sim stuff, is this SR22 model by a little company called Torque Sim Aviation. And it's some young guys who I interviewed. If you haven't had a chance to look at it and you're interested, go check it out on my YouTube channel. A bunch of young guys that are flight enthusiasts that built this wonderful model. You know, there's a young kid by the name of Cooper LeComp, who I'll be posting a video of shortly. With him and I flying. The reason I mention that is because there were 3 or 4 key guys in putting together this flight model, which really makes this thing happen. And they've never met in person. They're all met virtually online. But they developed this whole flight model without ever flying a Cirrus. So this past spring, when we were coming back on the last legs of our U.S. tour, my wife and I, we decided to do a little change of plan. I called up Cooper LeComp, the young 19-year-old computer genius, and said, hey, Coop, we're in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I'm not that far from Seattle. Are you interested in flying down from Seattle to Los Angeles with me and the wife, so you can actually see what it's like to fly a Cirrus? And so he said yes, and I've just posted, or I've just about done editing that video, which is us going from Seattle down to what we started to be going to Redding. I had some fuel concerns, and so we stopped in Medford, Oregon. So I'll be posting that one here shortly. Okay, back to let's see what's going on. Okay, can you post your blank briefing page? The answer to that, Gary, is if you will send me an email at the email address attached to my YouTube account, I will send it to you. Awash 2004. Actually, if you get track IR, you can have head tracking. Awash, I actually tried track IR for a while, and maybe I needed to spend more time with it.
Hey, thank you.
But it just drove me crazy. And so I've stopped using it, and what I've done here is, you can't really see it here. I probably need to do an updated video on my sim setup. I have a little USB panel here from a company called Elgato. It's called a Stream Deck. And so what I've done is I've programmed, you know, the number of these buttons where I can see what they are without having to go through this keyboard, which, you know, I'm trying to lose this keyboard. I don't use it very often. And because whenever I do use it, it gets me out of my sync here. So anyway, if anybody wants a slightly used track IR setup, I can make me an offer here. All right, so we're heading here directly here, and one of the things that I love about using the sim as opposed to real life is that you can stop things and think about it, right? I could just stop in the middle of this and go pause X-Plane, and there we go, stop it, right? And then start her up again. You can't do that in a real plane. and you can speed ahead a little bit faster. So in a second here, I'll ask these guys if we can speed up to the next controller, because I got a Laker game happening here in a little bit. But you know, it's funny, as I've been spending more time on the sim here, it's given me some ideas on how I can do some some things that are really important reasons why you use a sim. And for me, it's difficult to go practice real emergency procedures up in the air. You know, you can do it, but you definitely need an instructor with you or somebody else. You can only get so real, you know, trying to do an engine out, right? You know, you can only get so real using the level button and all of that kind of stuff. So one of the things that I'm going to start doing here with the sim is trying to do some, and it'll be just really me recording little training sessions for myself here, of diverting to another airport and all of that stuff. And I'll be posting those, and you guys will tell me, you know, what you think about them. Because it seems to me that most of the folks that watch my channel are Cirrus pilots. They're either Cirrus pilots for real, have a Cirrus, they're thinking about getting a Cirrus, or they've just bought a Cirrus and put their money down and are now waiting a year to actually get their Cirrus. And those seem to be the folks that get the most value out of the channel here. And so I'm going to be thinking about those folks a little bit here. Cirrus doesn't have a pause button yet. No, they do not. Wouldn't that be nice if you think about it? Let me see if I can put you guys up there. All right. There's some more questions. You guys can read along here. I got them down here on my other screen here. This is all the juggling act of being a simmer. I think it's much easier if you're 14 years old juggling all this stuff. But wouldn't it be nice if you could, in those moments up there in the air where something has happened, right, and you're not exactly sure what it was or what it is, if you could hit the pause button and just go, okay, let me give a think about this. And when I started my training in general, but particularly my IFR training, my instructor at the time, I asked her, I said, is it okay if I use a sim setup here? And back then, it was a very clunky setup, but it was a G1000 Cessna 172 model we used, and but it did really help me in terms of practicing, you know, certain procedures and stuff. The killer was this keyboard made it very unrealistic. Since then, once I got my Cirrus, I really started looking around for equipment, hardware that could replicate the cockpit. And I won't try to move the cameras around today for fear that I'll screw something up here. But the cockpit I have right in front of me right now, the Cirrus side yoke, the switch panel, the MFD, PFD, the GCU, and the throttle quadrant are pretty darn close to exactly what I'm flying in the plane. And so it makes the experience, you know, so much more impactful. And the real icing on the cake is the pilot edge stuff, which makes things, you know, even more realistic. Now, having said that, the pilot edge that we're hearing tonight is a lot tamer version of what would be happening around the ATC area here in Southern California. And a lot more instructions, more frequency changes. You know, they don't just step you up to 12,000. You know, it would be 3,000, it'd be 4,000, it'd be turn to a heading, it'd be turn, you know, here, contact, you know, point Magoo approach, and a number of other controllers along the way. But the punchline is it's enough reality there for people that are just learning to make it really, really, really good. How do you program the G1000 keyboard and mouse? No, K-Dub. I actually showed it to you. I'm going to see if it works here. If not, I'm going to, let's see. There it is. Okay. And now I can't get back to here. Okay, let's go left. Okay, bear with me 1 second. I got to go do a little funny thing here. There is the instruments. Okay, let's go back over here. Okay, now I got to figure that one out. I'm streaming on one platform here, talking on another. There, I'm back with you. I have all the instrument stuff, all the physical hardware stuff that I have in the plane, and that I have here in my office. So I'm not touching the keyboard very much. I'm doing it a little bit today because I thought I had it all sorted out with my Stream Deck buttons, right? But that's the tricky part of trying. That's the part that makes it, reminds you you're not flying a Cirrus, is trying to control the views and all that stuff. So, you know, I probably would be better if I had some young kid playing video director here and doing all this stuff, but not. Scott Pritchett says, I have one of those noble Cirrus size 6 and the company has been great to work with. I couldn't agree more, Scott. And all the guys, the folks, you know, Jared Barker at Real Sim Gear guys are based down in San Diego-ish. He's based in Australia, but they have an office in San Diego. Tremendous guys. The Noble Flight Sim guys, you know, Tyler Noble and his partner Austin Fang, terrific guys, great enthusiasts, and those guys actually are Cirrus pilots. And I've had a chance to meet all those guys, and they're really doing it because they love it. I will tell you also, I don't know if you know this, Scott, but not only is Tyler Noble a very accomplished surgeon in his world, one of the top doctors in South Carolina. Not only is he a flight sim developer, not only is he a father of 3 or 4 kids, he's also one hell of a country singer. And that's coming from a guy that used to work in the music business. And he sent me a couple songs of his, and I told him, I said, geez, it's not like you need something else to think about, Tyler, but goddamn, you actually can sing, my friend. So anyway, hopefully he won't wreck all this other stuff by going in the music business. Okay, Bill says, wow, I'm impressed. Who's that? Is that Bill? Impressed with Tyler Noble, no doubt. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to call up our friend here at on Pilot Edge and see when the next frequency change is, and see if we can speed up a little bit. All right, so I got to go back to the keyboard. I got to, I'm trying to keep a list in my head of all the things I got to fix here.
420 Tango at 11,000.
All right. Now it's better to do these speed ups when you got a straight line coming up. So we'll find out here. Let me call him.
5190 Circle approach Ontario, altimeter 2997, 5 show weather for John Wayne. Okay, no 190 also appears you're just deviating from your cleared route here. Turn left heading 0, joint vector 186. So 190, turn left, heading 080. So 420 Tango, Los Angeles Center, thank you.
Los Angeles Center, Cirrus 768 Foxtrot Sierra at 12,000. I'd like to request a little speed up. When is the next frequency change?
Cirrus 768 Foxtrot Sierra, Los Angeles Center. See, 2 times is approved till Paso Robles.
2 times to Paso Robles. Any chance we could go a bit faster than that? I guess that's a no. I'll tell you, I'm going to...
Foxtrot Sierra, tell you what, just 3 times is approved. I can't really get you any higher than that.
Okay, I think I got 2 times, 4 times, 8 times, and 16, so I guess I'm at 2 unless you'll let me slide for 4. Or you can just tell me to be quiet.
Great, Foxtrot Sierra, 4 times.
Thank you so much. Okay, there we go. All right.
420 Tango, if you need to drag it out, altimeter 2989.
All right, so we're going to speed things up here a little bit and see if I can get you guys back on the screen here. Okay, why is some kooky stuff here? It's funny, you rehearse all this stuff back in my music business days when I was managing bands, I told them, hey, we got to rehearse because nothing's the same once you get out there, and it's true, and here I am. Okay. Scott Pritchard's talking about Noble Flight Sim for some of you folks. Let's put you guys back up on the screen there. Okay, there we go. All right. And while we're at it, let's just let's go outdoors here and get the external rear view. Let's go and enjoy the sights here. And let's go back here, and then I'm going to go see if I can put you back. Oh, there, beautiful. Now it's working. It's a little bit louder there too. What's up, Rennie from San Diego, the Shy team? Hey, how you guys doing? Okay, so Scott, you had a couple issues with my device, but he worked hard to get it resolved. I had a couple little minor issues with all this stuff here. You know, I mean, this is computer technology and stuff, so shit breaks, you know, for no particular reason. And I gotta tell you, I've had Austin Fang on the phone with me at 10:30 at night my time, 1:30 on the East Coast, helping me fix stuff where he's gone on TeamViewer and fixed my stuff for me while I watch. Amazing guys here. What flight sim software and add-on to use? MSFS. No. Okay, so Costas Contangianis. Okay, I use X-Plane 11.5. I tried Microsoft Flight Sim when it came out. I was so excited to see it because the graphics were so stunningly good. It was amazing, right? However, it turned 3000, thank you. But I use the Flight Sim for flight training. I'm a 66-year-old man. I'm not a 14-year-old gamer. And so,
you copied altimeter that was not for you. I'm not even talking to you.
Sorry about that. Okay, see, I'm going too fast now here. I'm losing track of where we are. Anyway, so I use the Flight Sim for training purposes. So for me, the gee whiz factor of the scenery without the ability to use the G1000, in this case the Cirrus Perspective version of G1000, was not very helpful at all, you know. And so I used it for about a week or two trying to get used to it, and then I went back to 11.5. There's no Cirrus flight model that even approaches what you can do on 11.5 X-Plane and the Torque Sim flight model. Until they have that, I doubt that I'll be working on the Microsoft Flight Sim anytime soon. Okay, how does the sim compare with the real plane? Flying characteristics. The actual flight model on this Cirrus SR22 turbo normalized G3, I fly in a G6, is pretty amazingly close, particularly on the engine numbers, you know. I've flown a lot of hours in my 5 years of flying. I'm up just a tick under 1,200 hours now, right? But I've spent less time in my actual plane.
Sorry, Foxtrot. I was able to coordinate it with Oakland Center 4 times as approved till DoCal.
4 times till DoCal. Thank you so much. 8 Foxtrots here. How close to DoCal am I getting here? Okay.
37 Charlie Lima is confirming looks for factors to the island.
And when I've been out flying recently, and I'll be flying up to San Carlos tomorrow morning and flying back with my son, and because I fly IFR just about all my flights, I enjoy that interaction with the ATC controllers. I'm sharp as I can be because it's just a matter of being able to execute those commands and do it in a kind of ritual where your brain is connected to your hands. And because I have all this stuff here, and I won't show you it again because it somehow screws up my views in here. The GCU, the throttle, the go around missed approach button, the mixture, all of that stuff is incredibly realistic. And so for anybody that's thinking about buying a Cirrus or flying a Cirrus, for people that just bought a Cirrus, I've talked to, probably got a dozen people that have just bought Cirruses. I tell them all, I said, as crazy it is, as much as I fly, I love having this simulator around here, not just because for the gee whiz factor, because it makes me a better pilot. So anyway, there you have it. Okay, so we're cranking away here, banging through the miles here on the way to DoCal. So let me show you what else while I'm at it. Let's go back into the cockpit here. Okay, one of the things that I like to do is stay ahead of the game. We talked about that flight info sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and do some homework here right now. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to put in 125.9.
I wasn't talking to you before, so I'm not sure why you're asking that.
125.9, which is ATIS.
Where did you depart from?
119. Those are our frequencies for San Carlos, right?
And where are you now?
Now I'm going to go down to the GC, and what I like to do is I like to start monitoring ATIS on COM2, so that
2032.
I'm listening to her. Okay. So I'm ready to go here. So once I get closer there, it's a little reminder for me also for the ATIS here. And the Cirrus Gen 6 version of it, right, I can just scroll down to KSQL, right? And down here in this area here, there's a function called waypoint weather, which I get from my Sirius XM radio or XM radio weather in the plane here. So I have that information right down here where it says current VNAV profile. So that's a little bit different, and I wish, in a perfect world, I wish I could have everything that I have on my Cirrus Gen 6 available in this plane here. But that's not the case.
100 affirmative, descend and maintain 4,000, contact SoCal approach 128.1.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to, okay, let's see how far we are from SoCal, okay, because we're ripping through these miles here. And I'm going to go back to my flight plan, and I'm going to do a little cheating here.
Contact John 126.8.
I'm going to go over to the iPad here. Okay, now let's do a little cheating, and I'm going to go hit KSQL, and we got few clouds at 2,000, scattered, broken. Wind is at 290. The runway is 30. Okay, so clearly we're going to be getting runway 30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load the approach right now. I'm going to go load, select approach. I'm going to go the RNAV Zulu GPS. We're going to make it, let's go Jeffney. And let's go to our plates down here. Go back to the iPad here. This is like having a big A&B. Okay, so we've got minimums are 900 there.
First 100 circular first John 1 altimeter 208. You said you do have weather, and you look for the visual
come up
approach,
close here.
Tonight?
We go here, 900. I would just normally dial this in on the keypad. There's 900. And now we've got our approach loaded. Okay, so I'm going to go. So that's our. We got our. Let's go back here to a cockpit. Okay, so we're great. All right, so now I'm going to slow down.
Sky 100, that's not what I said. I said fly heading 140, vector ILS, runway 20 right approach, descend and maintain 3,000.
Now, can you guys hear all that ATC stuff happening? I love, this is something for the newer pilots here that that's terrific. The folks on Pilot Edge are very helpful. They'll actually kind of bust your balls a little bit when you're messing something up, and that's good because in the real world out there, the last thing you need is everybody kind of winging it. So you can't handle a little discipline from the ATC folks. You probably shouldn't be flying IFR, and God knows I've gotten my share of it, that's for sure. So anyway, let's go back to the flight plan here.
100, I'm going to give you a turn in a couple of seconds back to the localizer intercept, just FYI. 100, fly heading 170, dread localizer. So 1 Charlie Alpha contact SoCal. Actually, thing you have to learn for is 12 o'clock and 7 miles squawk VFR and contact Almani Tower.
LA Center, this is Cirrus 768 Foxtrot Sierra back with you. Should I be with a no-cal controller now? I'm back at normal speed.
Sorry, Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. Contact Oakland Center 128.7.
128.7. Thanks for your help. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's go back up to
100, hoping to get that
view.
turn a little quicker there. I'll need you to turn right back. Turn right
Instrument
heading
view, we're going to go up 128.7.
Sir 420 Tango Las Vegas, altimeter 2987, crossway.
See, I'm up there looking at my monitor instead of looking at my instruments right here. NorCal approach, Cirrus 768 Foxtrot Sierra, level 12,000.
November 985, Lima, San Francisco Tower, stand by. November 768 Foxtrot, Lima, Oakland Center, roger.
That's Foxtrot Sierra, is that who we're talking to?
November 768 Foxtrot, Sierra, Oakland Center, roger.
Thank you. Can you give me the current altimeter at Oakland Center, 8 Foxtrot Sierra?
November 985, Lima, enter left, base, runway 28 right. Over 8 Foxtrot Sierra, they pass a Robles altimeter 2997.
2997, thank you, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Okay, so now we're back on the same page as everybody here. Let's look a little bit left.
November 7, I can remake connection, I can approach.
All right, here we go, moving along here. Now, I imagine for you guys that are watching, this is excruciatingly exciting here, I'm sure. Okay, let's see how we're, let's go over to our iPad for a second here. All right, I've got our approach plate up there. Okay, the other thing I'm going to look at while I'm here looking at plates, I'm going to close this one. Once you get on the ground, your flying is not over. I've learned that the hard way. Go check out my worst 10 minutes as a pilot video. Sadly, one of the more popular videos on the channel is my worst 10 minutes as a pilot, where I just messed up everything on the ground. So I try not to make that mistake again here. So our runway there is 2,621 feet. It's pretty tight. So tomorrow, if I'm landing in the rain, I better be on the money there. We're going to be practicing a missed approach. Once I land here, I'm good to, I'm going to be getting off on Delta or Charlie. And I actually write that down on my little flight info sheet down here. Let's see if I got that.
8 Foxtrot Sierra, contact NorCal approach 121.3.
Can you say again the frequency 8 Foxtrot Sierra?
November 8 Foxtrot Sierra, contact NorCal approach 121.3, and I just want to confirm that you stopped acceleration.
Yeah, 121.3, and I'm at normal speed right now for a bit. Thank you. Okay, so let's get rid of, let's go back to our cockpit views.
November 7, Echo Romeo, the
let's get rid of, let's go back here. Let's go up close to 12, so we're going 121.3. 121.
7, Echo Romeo, roger.
I'd like to cancel my IFR clearance, please.
Walker 70 IFR, cancel, sure, see you, good day.
Good day, Walker 703.
NorCal approach, Cirrus 768 Foxtrot Sierra, level 12,000.
November 768 Foxtrot Sierra, NorCal approach, Steve, on the way, altimeter 3000.
3000, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. Alrighty, so now we are heading over there, and let's see what we've got. Let's go back to our flight plan for right now. I don't know what is going on there. Okay, we're 81 miles from DoCal.
November, takeoff, Mike.
So about 90 miles.
For takeoff, Mike, cleared to the Payne Field. Nirvana 1 departure. Nirvana A walk. That is filed.
That Nirvana 1 that's familiar. You'll hear that again on our video with Cooper Lecomte from TorqueSim. All right, so I'm going back over to KSQL again. I'm going to put down some of this. Let's go over here at KSQL.
transfer PN Airport, flight Nirvana 1, departure Nirvana, Takeoff at 2000, then expect 4000, 10 minutes after, departure frequency 120.4, 12620.
Okay, the mean turn, we got a few clouds at 2.
I'm
going to put this up here so you can see what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the weather for San Carlos. We got a few clouds at 2,000. We got scattered at 3,100. We got broken 18,000, which we don't have to worry about. Our altimeter is 29er, 9er, 9er. And the wind is 290 and 5. Okay. All of that adds up to that runway 30 approach. So I'm going to make note of all this. And again, I put all this stuff down here. Let's just, let me just see.
Denver Tower, King Air 1399, on short runway 8.
Oh, I'm going to keep where we are right now. I got to do some more practicing of this streaming on live here. But
quit for takeoff.
I write all this stuff down on my little flight info sheets.
November 5, Tree Lima, roll to taxiway Delta.
And I do it because it kind of mentally imprints that stuff in my mind here. So let's see if it goes back in the chat room. Okay. Thank you, Constant. Okay, we're good. I'm going to do a little flipping over here on my keyboard here, doing a little seeing what's going on here.
7 Echo Romeo, cross Baca, outer above 4,000, clear localizer, runway 19 bridge.
Baca is above 4,000, cleared for localizer, runway 19 approach, 017 Romeo.
Alrighty, kind of lull in the action here. Let's go take it outside so we can enjoy the view at least here. Oops, gotta go back for a second here. Paul Solomon asks, let's go put you up here, Paul. Cockpit chat. Okay, Paul asks, do you share your flight information sheets anywhere? I would be interested in using them. Paul, I share them with anybody that asks. So you're welcome. If you'll send me an email at the email account attached to my YouTube account, and just remind me that we talked tonight, and I will send you a link to both the takeoff briefing and also
departure 1399er.
Let's see if I can put it up here in Cockpit. No, that didn't work properly. Okay.
Southwest 131, taxi to the ramp via Kilo. Remain at this frequency.
Ramp via Kilo and stay with you, Southwest 131. Denver departure, King Air 1399, Rockies 5, leaving 8,600.
I'll be happy to send one of those to you, Paul. And there you are, back again. All right, so we'll take care of that for you, Paul.
Maintain level 200.
Turn 270, climb maintain flight level 200, 1399.
Now tomorrow's interesting. I see the weather is going to be kind of interesting, and not huge rain up in San Francisco, but cloudy, kind of light rain, a little bit of real rain, intermittent until the afternoon. So my plan is to get out early tomorrow. I know this is not particularly exciting at this point in the flight, right? Where you get a chance to relax a little bit if you can put it on autopilot and everything's under control. It's not that fun to watch, but you know, it's that it's good to do it here. And
Number 139er cleared direct Zimmer, resume Rocky.
And this is what I wind up doing a lot of, looking out the windows right and left, checking my instruments. We are 63 miles from DoCal. I'm going to ask this guy if we can speed up just a little bit. NorCal approach, Cirrus 768 Foxtrot Sierra. Quick question.
Number 8 Foxtrot Sierra.
Will I be handling the approach into San Carlos with you?
And November 768 Foxtrot Sierra, that'll be the next controller. I can take your approach request if you've got one.
Yeah, I'd like the RNAV Zulu for runway 30 at San Carlos, and when possible, I'd like to go direct to Ambi.
November 8 Foxtrot Sierra, Monitor. I have your request in.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to go back to just regular. Great bit of advice I got early in my, actually wasn't even in my business career. An old lady I used to caddy for at a local country club. I was out caddying for her one day and had this thing on for this young gal and wanted to ask her out.
Number 172 Golf.
Afraid she'd say no, and so anyway, I'm sharing this with my Tuesday loop, Mrs. Ellis, who said, "Stevie, you don't ask, you don't get." And I was probably 16, 17, 18 years old at the time. And that was one of the best bit of advice I ever got in my life. If you don't ask, you don't get, right? What's the worst thing that happens? Somebody tells you no. And so it took me a while to get comfortable with ATC controllers. At first it felt like going to the principal's office. At first it felt like I should know all the stuff they're talking about, should know every bit of the terminology that they're talking about. But of course it's all happening in real time. And it's one thing to read a book or sit there with your instructor. It's quite another to be up there with traffic in the area. Planes all over, and then trying to process that information. But one of the things I've taken to heart is that advice from my friend Mrs. Ellis. And if in doubt, I ask a question. Better to look dumb than be dead. And so for you folks that are out there just learning and just getting into it, take that advice. If you're unsure, don't worry about looking stupid. Worry about doing something that could get you dead. So ask the question. The controllers I found are really like having a great caddy out on the golf course. Their job is to provide information for you, to make you smarter than you were when you got there, and use them. They're your friend up there, not the enemy. All right, let's go back and see if there's any new questions in the. All right, Paul's going to send an email right now. Great. Got about another 20 minutes. I'm going to ask him if we can speed up here in a second, but we're closing in. I see if you look out over our hood here. Let's go out over the hood here. That little bay up ahead is Monterey Bay. Yeah, let me close this here. Which, if you're a golfer, is really hallowed ground. And I am a golfer, and I go up there frequently to go play golf up at Pebble Beach, any of the golf courses up there. Had a chance to play with a pilot I met from the Cirrus world, and one of the great things and one of the great byproducts of learning how to fly was that it's introduced me to a whole new gang of associates and folks that have become friends, and the pilot community is very willing to share information, very willing to meet new people, and when you fly, there's a certain bond you get with other pilots, and it transcends, race, religion, politics, and all of the crazy stuff that confuses the world these days. So I got a chance to play with a Cirrus pilot who invited me to play at Monterey Peninsula Country Club. I took my son up there, and we had an awesome day. And so this is a view out the front window I never get tired of seeing. In fact, on the way back from San Carlos, the route I fly back from San Carlos takes you right over the top of Pebble Beach golf links. Good stuff.
So number 1 train 900 every center, roger.
All right, so we're looking at
number 8 Foxtrot Sierra, clear direct Amoebi.
Clear direct Amoebi, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. All right, that's what we were looking for right there. So let's go. We're going to go to our instrument view here. So we're going to highlight this. We're going to come straight down to Ambi here.
2 Golf Mike, runway 32 right.
And it's not letting me go direct. Enter, enter. Okay, so now we're heading to Ambi. Okay, so now we're looking good. Now you'll notice up here, let me get rid of this chat room for a second here.
Change approves, reporting on fire cancellation in the air or misapproach on this frequency on the ground 122.2.
Now you'll notice up here that we've got 3900 in here, and that is a VNAV reference. And so one of my favorite features of the Cirrus is the VNAV profile. In fact, G1000 and so forth. And it's one I use quite a bit. And normally when you get into busy airspace, certainly around Southern California, you rarely get to use this because they're vectoring you and telling you where to go and how high to be the whole time. On this flight into San Carlos, because you're not quite all the way to San Francisco, it's entirely possible you'll get to use this, okay? Now, if I scroll over here to the right a little bit, let's go over here to the right and down. You'll see time to top of descent is 7 minutes and 11 seconds, okay? And that's based on our altitude of 12,000. There's 12,000. From 12,000, what it would take us to get down to that 3,900 feet, and we'd have to start at 7 minutes, and we'd have to go at about 800 feet a minute, right? So now, typically, let's go back over here. Typically, we would get a lowering of an altitude from one of the controllers right here. So I'll ping him in a little bit. But here's how we're going to set up the VNAV here, okay? First thing we're going to do is I'm going to put in 3,900 feet here just for yucks, assuming he doesn't give us something else, right? 3,900 feet or anything below 3,900. You'll notice over here, COSUP is our final approach fix at 2,000. Descended pilot discretion, maintain 6,000. Okay, perfect timing there. Okay, so he wants us at 6,000. So what I'm going to do is set that altitude selects to 6,000, right? And now I'm going to go type in, go down here to our GCO. Now, sometimes on the X-plane, it doesn't pick it up. So let's see if it's going to work. Okay, VNAV is in there right now. So in time to top of descent is 547. Now, he said go to 6,000, okay? And so what I did was, if I hadn't put in 6, we would descend all the way to 3,900. But because I have 6 in there, okay, what should happen if the simulator is working properly is in 5 minutes and 29 seconds, I will start down, and it will continue to go down until I get to 6,000 feet, and then it's going to stop me, okay? And that's because he's given me that instruction. So let's see how this plays out. We got 5 minutes and 10 seconds to do this. I'm going to ask him if we can speed up just a hair. NorCal approach Cirrus 768 Foxtrot Sierra. Can I get 2 times faster to that 6,000?
Say again.
I'm at 12,000 right now. You cleared me to 6,000 pilot discretion. Can I go 2 times speed up a little bit?
November 8 Foxtrot Sierra. When are you going to stop the acceleration?
I got my top of descent is about 4:30 from here, so I'm going to go for about 2 minutes at double speed.
Your Foxtrot Sierra approved as requested.
Thank you. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed up a little bit, and we're going to keep an eye on that top of descent there, which is going to start ripping by here. So we can speed this process up a little bit. Now, once again, this is something you cannot do obviously on a real simulator or on a real plane here, but it's kind of fun to do this right now. Okay, so I'm going to give you a better view out the window here. And I'm going to keep an eye on that time to top of descent. And I'm going to flip you up on iPad right now so you can see what we're doing here. Let's get rid of this. You know, let's go to, we got to load that procedure over here. RNAV Zulu.
San Carlos Information Whiskey. 1500 Zulu weather. Wind 30017. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 3200 scattered. Temperature 16. Dew point 10. Altimeter 2999. Arriving runway 30, departing runway 30. Advise on initial contact, you have whiskey.
Okay, now you heard it right there. We got our ATIS because it picked it up there on, let's get rid of this. It had picked it up there. Let's go close. Okay, let's go back to just Cockpit PNP. All right, so now we're 1 minute and 15 seconds from our top of descent. We know what our runway was, runway 30, so we've got the proper approach loaded. Now, if all goes well here, we should start down to 6,000 here shortly. Actually, I should have started down to 6,000 ahead of time because we're going to have a really cram down here. So I'm going to do that right now. Start going down 1,000. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull our power here. So I'm not using VNAV because as I was sitting there chatting with you folks, I wasn't paying attention to the fact that I was going to be really high when I got to Ambi there because that top of descent was calculated to 3,900 feet. So I'm going to get us down a little bit. I'm going to pull some power back to about 35% to really slow us down a hair here. And then we'll recalculate that top of descent again. See, it's actually over here, you know, playing with it right now. This is where I think the X-plane is really great unless you start doing some odd stuff, which I just did here. Because we're not going to be at 6,000. We'll still get there, but it'll be a little bit more interesting than it needed to be here. Ever play at Cypress Point? Yes, I did. Unbelievable course. Does your call sign have any significance? I remembered on your old plane. Actually, it was 768 Foxtrot Romeo on the old plane. It was Foxtrot Sierra on the new plane. 768 is, my wife's birthday is July 6, 76. Mine is June 8, 68. F is for Franny. R was for Renman.
Brain Foxtrot Sierra, contact approach 135.1.
135.1, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. 135.1. Switch it over. NorCal approach, Cirrus 768 Foxtrot Sierra, 9,800 descending for 6.
Number 768 Foxtrot Sierra, NorCal approach, roger.
Okay, so so the 768 was Foxtrot, Sierra was Franny and Steve. That's when we got the Cirrus. FR was Franny and Ren, which is my nickname for years. And that was my way of attempting to sell my wife on the idea of me getting a plane. But as she correctly noted, she goes, Steve, come on, you were going to get a plane no matter what. And she was right about that. In the sim, it's necessary to reduce speed for VNAV to work about 30 seconds before top of descent. Does real plane work like that? I think it does. I'm not exactly sure of the timing, although I know that on the on the Cirrus Perspective Plus, you can pretty much set that VNAV as long as you've got a VNAV reference number up here.
Number 1 tree 9 or 9 miles of scratch, maintain 16,000 Eagle County, altimeter 3009.
As long as you've got a VNAV ref right here, you can set VNAV on the Cirrus Perspective Plus. I don't know if it's exactly the same here. It's a little funny on the X-plane here, that's for sure. All right, so we're descending nicely here now, and I'm doing all the things that you should never do when you're flying, which is, you know, talk too much. And you know, it's funny when I have, you know, people in the plane, I get a little chatty because I kind of want to share with them what's going on in the plane, and so that they're comfortable, they know what's going on. One of my Cirrus training instructor was a gentleman by the name of Ed Waters. He was a terrific guy, golfer, but even better, CSIP. And he told me, your goal, Ren, should be to be the most boring pilot in the world. And in general, I wouldn't want to be the most boring guy in the world, but being a boring pilot means that, you know, there's no surprises. And I've taken that to heart. So when I'm flying with other people, I kind of let them know, hey, we're going to make a turn here. We're going to be descending now. It's going to be steep. It's not going to be steep, whatever it might be. But the truth of the matter is I would be smart just to sit here and not say anything. But I'm chatting and talking with you folks. Okay, so now back to the, let's see. I've just said that. Let me pull up the chat room here again and see what's going on. I appreciate all you guys hanging around here. It's 20 to 7. We've got a Laker game coming up here tonight. I don't know if you guys are basketball fans or not, but Lakers got a lot of firepower, but a lot of grizzly old veterans on the squad here. That bell you heard right there, again, small differences, you know, between the Perspective Plus, which I have, and the Perspective. This bell rings 1,000 before you get to your altitude select. On the Cirrus G6 Perspective Plus, it's 200 feet. And so small, subtle difference. These are all the list of things I've got from my young friend Cooper LeComte that I wish I could just give him a budget and say, just fix all these things and make it more like the real Cirrus. Horribly indulgent of me. Declutter 1, declutter 2. Now I like to get rid of some of the stuff around here once we start coming in. Okay, so now you can see up here that we're starting to get into the approach here, and so that's why I wanted, let's see if we can scroll in here. That's why I wanted ambi, because it was on the flight plan to begin with. It's one of the fixes on the approach, but it makes for a much better approach thing. So anyway, good. Now I'm at 6,000, so I'm going to start adding some power back in here. This is one of the things that easy to not pay attention, and all of a sudden you're losing speed and things are getting weird, and it's because you didn't put in the power. Okay, so now I'm going to go make believe we went through all that cruise stuff. Let's go around our descent. So altimeter is set 29909. Okay, that's for San Carlos. Cabin defrost. Let's put our landing light on now. Our fuel system is, let's go to our fullest tank here. There we go. Sometimes it gets a little jakey there. Okay, that's all fixed. Our mixture, we're going to stay full for right now. No oxygen. Okay, now I'm going to call him and tell him.
November 1, train 900, roger.
NorCal approach, 8 Foxtrot, Sierra level at 6 now.
November 8, Foxtrot, Sierra, NorCal approach, roger. November 1, train 900 across, scrambling at or above 16,000, cleared alley.
Okay, so now we're back to the, I'm going to take you back over here. So now back to that top of descent again, okay? VNAV, still got 3,900 here. So now I bet you he's going to tell me to just, he's going to clear me here in a second. Okay, so I'm going to put it at 39. In fact, I'm going to put it at 2,000 because it needs to be at any number at or below that number. And now what I'm going to do is go back to that GCU and I'm going to enable VNAV again, and you can see that it lights up properly here. So let's see if that's all going to work. We're 2 minutes and 3 seconds to our top of descent for ambi at 3,900.
Albuquerque Tower, Walker 169 Heavy, short runway 8, we're ready.
Okay, now that's the view that I'll be looking at tomorrow morning.
Albuquerque Tower, runway 8, clear for takeoff. Clear for takeoff, runway 8, Walker 169 Heavy.
Tower 51 set to go. Mike Williams, short runway 32 right. Request.
See these manifold pressure indications I get don't happen on my G6, that's for sure. So it's a little bit different. The turbo normalized version is what we're flying here tonight. Anthony Bruce, lifetime Sixers fan, suffering through the Simmons issue. Well, you got Doc Rivers is the coach, and he's done an amazing job. Not to name drop here, but Doc is a member out at my local golf club, still lives out here in L.A., best I can tell, because whenever they're out here in town, he's out playing golf at Bel Air. Anyway, you've got an amazing coach there, and but you still need players. Gerald Daniels says, possible to get some guidance pulling together a home sim Cirrus SR22. Yes. I'm going to redo, Gerald, a little update. I have a video on my YouTube channel that details my Cirrus setup. That video is a bit old. Since that video, I've got a throttle quadrant that's totally dialed in. It replicates exactly the Cirrus throttle quadrant. I believe on that video I had a G5 GCU. I now have the G6 version, which is not what you see here on the video here. It's not this one. It's slightly different than that one. You could go either all Noble Flight Sim, or you could go all real sim gear, or you could mix and match. The key item here is the X-Plane 11.5, much better than Microsoft Flight Sim, so don't waste your time if you want to use this as a simulator. Oh, shit.
Walker 169 Heavy, contact departure. Departure, Walker 169 Heavy. November 8, 5 shots Sierra, cross the maybe at or above 4,000, cleared RNAVs, delivered like 30 approach.
Cross maybe at or above 4,000, cleared for the RNAV 30 approach. Okay, so now you notice that I actually started cheating on that.
Walker 169 Heavy, 7,300, climbing via the Mensana 3.
Now I'm going to go 3,900. I'm going to set the VNAV, and I'm going to actually have to go vertical speed to get down there. Now I'm going to
cleared for the Tri-Cities Airport via radar vectors, heading 1, 0,
go to my flight plan. I'm going to go procedure. I'm going to activate the approach.
November 7, Echo Romeo, the readback is correct. Expect ILS, runway 2 and right approach.
All right, let me make sure I got all this together here. So we're going to go down to 4,000 here. We got to get down there faster. I'm going to pull some power back now. Get my eyes back on the ball game here. Pulling power significantly.
November 172 Golf Mike, information vector current at main field. Let me know when you have it.
We got to pick up one type of this thing.
$4,000 to Ambi. And it's going to be 2,000.
King Air, train 900, connect Eagle Tower, 100.8.
Approach is loaded and activated. There's 4,000. We'll hold there at 4,000 for just a brief minute.
November 7, Echo Romeo, descend to maintain 3,000.
Okay, now we're on the approach. Let's go down to 2,000.
Eagle Tower, King Air 1399, LTA 25.
November 1 train 900 Eagle Tower, runway 25, clear to land, wind count.
Runway 25, clear to land, 1399.
Okay, so now
November 8 Foxtrot Sierra. No traffic observed between you and San Carlos. Radio service terminated. Frequency change approved. Report IFR cancellation in the air or missed approach on 135.1 or on the ground 122.2.
I'll report IFR cancellation. San Carlos is a tower to airport. Do I need to cancel or just go to tower?
November 8 Foxtrot Sierra, it's not towered, unpiloted.
Ah, okay. I'm squawking VFR and I'm canceling my IFR right now. Thank you. 8 Foxtrot Sierra.
November 8 Foxtrot Sierra, IFR cancellation received. Squawk and maintain VFR.
Squawk and maintain VFR. 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Okay, did not know that. Okay, so it's not a towered airport on.
Yeah, the project says someone to the flight. We have Victor and
November 2 Golf Mike, Roger. Climb the main.
Now again, kind of funny here. I'm not seeing.
Your approach request.
Climate in 3000, Yankee SM.
Should pick up the glide path at. There's the glide path. Okay. Some strange things happen every once in a while. You notice, I don't know if you noticed, but glide path wasn't engaged when so I reset it. Now the glide path is ready to go there.
34-6, Walker 169 Heavy.
Okay, now we're on the glide path, and it's captured. Okay, so now we're just going to ride this pony.
169 Albuquerque Center, Commutative Level 380.
Okay, descent checklist, we've got all that, so now let's go to done. Next one is going to be before landing, it's all good. Fuel pump, flaps, autopilot. Slips our tanks over on the right tank, we're full as tank, good there. Let's go mixture full. Mixture is now full.
Right 360.
Let's go back to our map. Coming up on Kuzup, there we are. All right, so I'm not going to contact tower here, which is kind of strange.
November 7 Uncle Romeo is 6 miles from Jivdo, we're heading 180, maintain 3000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS, runway 21 right approach.
All right, I'm just going to have to fly it in here now. Some weird stuff happening there. So let's get our flaps in here. So we get our flaps in down there, and we got flaps 1 in. We're going to start massaging our power in here. That is really weird here. What's going on? I got some strange bird going on here. Can't get out of that. So we're just gonna deal with it. All right. Sometimes the sim is actually, when it starts acting up, is really good practice on dealing with stuff on the fly here. Okay. So our missed approach point is 900 feet. So we're looking good. We can see the runway now. So we won't have to go missed. I didn't brief all that, which I would have typically done. So I'm going to practice more to figure out how to do all this and keep up with everybody here. Okay, so we got the runway coming up ahead of us. We're 3.5 to the missed approach point. We got good speed. We're synced up. We're on the proper heading. We're 300 to minimums.
Over 2 Golf Mike, clear direct AWA.
Clear direct AWA. 2 Golf.
San Carlos Information Whiskey. 1500 Zulu weather. Wind 320 at 5.
Okay. San Carlos traffic, Silver Cirrus 900 on final approach for 30. There it is in front of us. Okay, we're at our minimums now. Continuing in the approach. Okay, we got the runway in sight, so I'm going to give it flaps 2 here. Going to hold that nose down. They're going to take it off of autopilot here now. Now this approach brings you in slightly at an angle, so I'm going to start squaring this up a little bit now. Start trimming. See if we can keep it in there. Let's get on over here. Okay. All right, we're on the ground in San Carlos. Okay, let's get some flaps up. We want Delta here. We're gonna miss Delta, so we're gonna go on to the next one. Let's get on the runway here. Charlie, let's get out. Okay. All right, San Carlos, there we are. Let's go. San Carlos traffic, Silver Cirrus, clear active runway, heading to the FBO. San Carlos traffic. Okay, let's get over here to the left. Flaps are up. And that's where we're going to be parking, right over by that fence. Actually, we're going to come in here. We're going to take one of these prime spots here. All right. We're going to put down the parking brake here. We're going to come down to the throttle quadrant. We're going to turn the fuel pump off. We're going to come up here and we're going to cycle through this. And then pull back the mixture, and off we go. All righty, we are on the ground now, and I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. Possibly get some guidance. I talked about, Scott says you might want to give Microsoft 2020 another try. Microsoft hired working title to make G1000X 100% accuracy and improve their flight model a lot in the last year. Scott, let me know when they get it all the way done. You get pretty much this approach at VFR with flight following to San Carlos in real life. Anyway, yes, that's true. No trees there in real life. That's true as well. Thanks for the time. All right, gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for joining me here tonight. Let me get back into the cockpit here, or let me turn all this stuff off. Okay, bang. All right, so all that stuff's off. Anyway, great having you guys join me tonight. I'm going to post some more videos kind of breaking down the flight sim setup for some of you folks that are interested. I'm going to try to do a little video where I show you in detail how I use these little flight info sheets, you know, nothing revolutionary, nothing that you couldn't do on your own. Maybe they'll be helpful for you guys. You know, I've kind of got them dialed in for the way I like to see the information presented, which may or may not work for you. I think the bigger point is that staying organized in the cockpit, you know, starts before the flight. During the flight, there are certain things you can do to stay ahead of the ball game. One of them isn't talking the whole time. but I think you get the point of it. And anyway, I'll post some of those videos. I'll be posting some other flight videos. I'm going to probably try to post a video of my flight up to San Carlos and perhaps even the flight back so we can see how it looks in real time here. And so anyway, I just want to thank you guys for all joining me tonight. I love talking about flying, as you can probably tell, and it's been one of the great joys of my life. I wish I would have started a little bit sooner. Anyway, my name is Steve Rennie. I am the Ren Baron, and this is my Ren Baron Learning to Fly YouTube channel. Hope to see you again soon. Have a great night. I'm going to go watch the Lakers. Go Lakers.
No.